Oh, hey, it's me. Oh, better put my phone on silent so it doesn't stop pinging at you. And I'm gonna get this live stream up on my laptop so I can see what's going on. Just in case I miss any comments on my phone, sometimes I can't see them. See if anyone's gonna join me live. Oh my God, I feel like I'm having so many bits of information given to me today, like so much information being downloaded into my brain, and some of it was around the tapping for today, some of it was around limitless, which is so cool. Like any of you who followed me for a while will know that when I create a program, I don't sit down and go, oh, I'm gonna create, hey, if you're watching, say hi. If you're watching live or the replay, I love to know who I'm talking to. Just gonna plug my phone in so that it doesn't go and melt and die on me. Keep it juiced up. Hi Natalie, nice to see you. Excited for the weekend. Squeak. I'm gonna go get my nails did, I think, on Thursday, because I think otherwise they'll probably be all chipped by then. And the last thing I want to be is like a little chipped nail fiend. I mean, obviously it's very important you're going to be judging me on my nails. You think, does this woman know what she's talking about? Let me check her nails. No, they're chipped. She clearly is an idiot. So I can't have that happening, obviously. Any excuse. Yeah, like to hit stuff. Also like to have nice nails. Hey, we're all multifaceted. We are many, many things, all of us. Hey, anyone who's jumping on live, just say hi. And also if you're watching the replay, give me a little hey, 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 so that I know you're there. Yeah, I've had all of the ideas today, all of the ideas about this tapping, so I've got notes because I didn't want to miss anything. And like anything, whether I'm planning a program or just a live stream or whatever, I get the idea for it and then I just decide when I'm going to do it, put that in the diary, tell people about it, and then, oh, that must be Liz. Hey girl, hey, it's been a while, where have you been? I've missed your face. Love heart showers. Tell me all of the things. But yeah, I decide that I'm going to do this. I get the idea, I decide when I'm going to do it, and then I just put a date in and I start telling people about it. And that's basically how I run all of my programs, my offerings, my retreats, my everything. And it's very rare. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I had an idea for a program or an offering or even a live stream like this and sat down and went, right, well, I need it to be about this thing and it needs to be structured in this way and I need to cover these topics and blah, blah, blah. I just trust that if it's something that feels exciting for me to deliver and to create and put out into the world, that the rest of it's the how, if you like, is going to fall into place. And it's kind of interesting to me because there are areas in my life where it has historically certainly been more difficult for me to release the how, whether it's, you know, particularly around money, which is what we're talking about today. That kind of, oh, well, I know I want that much money and that feels like a great and exciting, fabulous amount of money for me to have or call in this month. And then the how seems to be like, okay, well, how am I going to do that? And it's kind of interesting to me. I was thinking this morning how excuse me, sit down, please. You're too big. I've got this enormous Labradoodle that I'm looking after today, and he's gigantic. I'm so used to tiny dogs with tiny legs, and he's like a freaking bear. He's very, very sweet and super chilled, but every time he moves around, my dog's like, there's a bear in the house, and then tries to steal all the treats. And I wish you could see what's happening because it's actually quite sweet, but also very amusing. And at any point, you might hear my dog growl. Heinzie, be nice. Neo, here please. Hi, I see the numbers going up, so if you're here, say hi. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to me how when I'm creating, you know, like products, content, whatever, programs, all that good stuff. Hey Penny, nice to see you. When I'm creating in that way and I'm putting that stuff out into the world, things to sell. Hey Angela, nice to have you on live. Yeah, when I'm creating programs, offerings, things to sell, etc., or even like, you know, events, whether they're a week or 4 days or whatever they are, if I feel excited and passionate about putting it out to the world and selling it, then it doesn't even occur to me like, well, how am I going to do that? It's just like, well, of course this will work. And I wouldn't be given the idea if I wasn't also given the resources with which to bring this to life. So why is it then that sometimes with money, I will still, even now with all of this law of attraction knowledge and all of the stuff that I talk and I preach and that I know at a core level, why is it then that sometimes even myself with money, I get caught up in the how? So give me a hell yeah if you know what I'm talking about. So for example, like any of the creatives, any of the coaches in the group who put out, you know, whether you're a coach and you get clients and they sign up, how many of you actually sit there and go, right, today's session, we're going to talk about this, this, and this, and then I'm going to check in about this, this, and this, and make sure they've done this, this, and this, and then I'm going to give them this, this, and this, and we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. You don't. You just show up to the session, set the intention that this is going to be a kick-ass session and whatever they need is going to come through. And, you know, I don't think anyone who follows my work or is interested in what I do is going to be the kind of person who needs a tick list on how to run a session. Good, Penny, glad you resonate. And then, you know, also with the artists in the room, I don't think anyone is going to stare at their canvas and be like, right, well, I need to put this, and I don't doubt you sit there and just think about and plan and make a list. I'm sure that the first thing that you do is you sketch or you make marks on the canvas, you know, in order to bring the thing that lives inside of you, inside your soul, to life. You just take action and you just trust that. I mean, sometimes, you know, you might doubt yourself and have those moments of, oh, have I done the right thing or whatever, but that's something different. What I'm talking about is having the idea of something and then just doing it. There's like, sometimes we get caught up in the space in between and we're like, well, what do I do? How am I going to do this? And particularly for people, it seems that they get this around money. So we'll have the idea of like, right, I would love to do, for example, say, because I'm running Limitless at the moment, right? Say you go, right, I'd love to do Limitless, and I know that it's £1,250. I know that that's the price. Great. So I want to do it. That's how much it costs. And then before we've even allowed ourselves to be in the energy of actually being excited about having the thing or doing the project, right? You're like, oh yeah, but how am I going to make that money back, and how am I going to afford it? And if I pay that out, then that means that I won't have money for this, blah, 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 blah. And you forget that, hang on a minute, I've had this idea that I want to do something or have an experience, create something in my life, so I get to have it. And you've put all these other steps in between that don't need to be there. Is this making sense to you? I'd love to know if any of you are kind of already struggling with this concept, because this is like the basic, trying to ebb and flow between both the analytical and the intuitive. Why do you need the analytical? The killer of all things. The analytical is also the rational, which, you know, and when you think about analytical, the very energy of the word analytical is very masculine, isn't it? It's very like, right, we're going to pick this apart and have a look and find reasons why we can and why we can't and how we're going to do it and all of that stuff. Whereas I'm not saying that you just literally make a decision and then you sit back and go, oh, well, that's sorted. You know, there may be steps that happen in between, but you have to trust, hey, Lily, nice to see you. You have to trust that the steps in between are going to be the things that are given to you. And so that's what you know, my analogy at the beginning around when you have the idea to create something and then you just go ahead and you just start creating, and then as you go along, you kind of feel your way through the journey of creating the thing. As opposed to when we think about money and we go, oh yeah, that's what I want. And then suddenly we kind of freeze and go, oh, well, how? What am I going to do that's going to make me worthy of? Or how, you know, how hard do I have to work in order to earn that money and all of that stuff? And then the energy changes straight away. Like I'm actually writing a post, which I'm going to post later, but what came through already was, it is easy to be inspired. We can all do that. The tough bit is getting from that moment of, yes, that moment of pure inspiration to actually having, being and doing that thing. And that's like the beginning of this post that I'm going to write later on today. But it's maintaining. You might hear people like myself and other law of attraction type folk talk about this idea of maintaining your vibration. It's like, well, what does that even mean? The box game helps. Tell me about the box game. Excuse me. And I like the way you call it a game, not a technique or a strategy. I like games. Games are good. Games are fun. We can do games. Yeah, what is it about money that gets us so caught up in the how, and this like suddenly we feel like we have to earn it, and when I say earn it, I mean you might have to do things in exchange for the money, in terms of create a service, create an offering, create a piece of artwork, and then you exchange that for the energy of money. I get that I don't mean earn in that sense. I mean earn as in doing something in order to believe that you are deserving of receiving the money. That's what I mean by earning. I mean, like, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? Have I done enough? Etc, etc. So it's incredibly easy for us to be inspired, and people are inspired all the time. Even people in your life that you think there's no way that person ever has a flash of inspiration, they're really fucking boring. Even those people have those flashes of inspiration, but their subconscious programming is so powerful that they probably don't even realize that they've had a flash of inspiration. It just feels like a crazy idea that they may never speak out loud to anyone, because they're almost embarrassed of the fact that they allowed themselves to be so ridiculous, so audacious to believe that they could actually be the person to have or be or experience that thing. So when it comes to money, one of the questions that I wrote down earlier was, how do I know, as in for you guys, how do I know that I need to do deeper clearing in order to allow something? So any of you who are familiar with Abraham Hicks, you'll know this idea of ask and it is given as a 3-step process. You ask, so you have a desire, a longing, a yearning, a want for something. And when you desire something, you're effectively asked for it. And then the step in between, there has to be a step in between asking and receiving. So if there wasn't a step in between, then what would happen is you say, oh, I really want a cup of tea, and then poof, it would materialize out of thin air, okay? So what happens is you ask, and it can be as quick as blinking your eyes or taking a breath, but it can also be longer. Sometimes you just need to maintain the vibration of what you want a little bit longer. That's all it takes, is just to hold and keep the faith. And keeping the faith isn't about like sitting there and being like, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, because there's a desperation in that energy. It is literally the art of surrender and just being able to go, you know what, it's on its way, and I can trust that it's on its way. And whilst I'm just sitting around here allowing myself to believe that it's already happened, I'm gonna get on and do these other lovely things that I like to do and make a bit of money here. And it's all, people get the law of attraction so wrong, and they kind of think that if it doesn't happen instantly, then it's not theirs, or if there are steps to take, that they have to figure them out. And it's like, no, you don't. You just have to believe that it's going to be yours, and then trust that little voice inside you, that little nudge, the little soul nudge that you get that says, oh, I wonder if I reached out to that person and asked them if they'd like to be in my program, or I wonder if I spoke to that person to see if they have any opportunities for speaking engagements. Or, you know, sometimes it's as simple as that. It's not about having a tick list and getting all of the things done in order to deserve and earn money. I could talk about money all day. I just find it such a fascinating topic. But yeah, so something else that I noticed about myself recently with a money pattern is that when we're going through like an ebb and flow phase, when it's kind of less and there's like less flowing in because I'm in more resistance around something, over the summer I actually pretty much did nothing in my business, and I just sat back and allowed myself to just be in the energy of, well, do you know what, it's all going to be okay. And that for me, for that month, looked like watching Netflix, looking after a few dogs. Oh, that box game, I got you. Yes, that's really good, because then you let go, you forget about them. That's a key that people forget about forgetting about what they want. Because if you're continually staring at it, thinking about it and longing for it, then you just get more thinking about it and longing for it. Whereas if you just go, that is done, then you actually create space for it to be allowed into your physical experience. Yes, good reminder, Penny. That is a good one. I've actually got a box upstairs that has many things in that have already happened, so I should probably go in there and put some new post-its in there, shouldn't I? You've reminded me. I'll do that later. Anyway, so yeah, one of the other patterns, I've actually spoken about it on one of these live streams before, but it's this idea of when the money starts coming in, or when good opportunities and positive opportunities start coming in, there can be this energy of, rather than just continuing to stay in the energy of allowing, suddenly something clicks like, oh, it's happening now. I have to make sure I work really hard in order to continue it. And that comes from a place of feeling like we've only got a short window of time in order to take this money, get this money, make this money, right? So it's like when the money starts coming, rather than just remaining in this like peaceful, like, yeah, well, of course, energy, we start going, right, and I can feel it, even when I think about it, like it's still there a little bit, although, hang on a minute, there we go, shifting, excuse me. Oh, you must be used to me burping and shifting the energy by now, right? Burp. I did it a lot over the weekend at my EFT training. I was burping all over the place. But yeah, when we look at this idea then, oh, I know Lily, so gross, but so amazing. So fabulous. Obviously say hi if you are watching. I do like to know who I'm talking to, tuning into the energy for you. Ooh. When you then get into this energy of, oh, now that there's momentum building, I need to like, and carry on with that energy and build more momentum, more momentum, more momentum. What you're effectively saying is I have to work harder in order to make more, in order to keep the money coming in. And you're running this pattern of go, 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 go. And then you burn yourself out and then you crash. And then you get into lack again, right? So this is all running from a pattern of there's not enough. It's going to run out, which is a pattern I've been working on recently. Like it's going to run out, whether it's around food, whether it's around love, whether it's around money, this feeling that something's going to run out, like there's a finite amount of something. And it also happens a lot. I see it with, you know, again, with creative people who are putting their work out into the world, whatever their work may be. And it's almost like this feeling of if I don't make it with this one thing, this one offering, this one piece of artwork, this one exhibition, this one program, if I don't make it with this, then that's it. My chance is gone because there will never be any more chances. That's bollocks. There's an infinite amount of chances and opportunities out there. There's an infinite amount of people who want to buy what you're putting out there. You just have to keep being in the energy of someone who is available to receive those people and that money and those opportunities. The it will run out mindset, Liz. Ah, yes, there we go. Ding, ding, ding. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Right. So let's, in that case, I've got a couple of things that I just want to draw your attention to, and then we're going to get into some tapping. So we're going to work through, we're going to use a really simple technique because I want to give you something that you can take away and use, but also this is something that you can then, as we're doing the tapping, you can tune in and make it personal to you as well. So what I want you to think is, I want you to think about £1 or $1 or €1 or wherever you are in the world, right? Just think of one of your currency. So I'm going to think of pounds, but you think of what? Just one. So when I think about £1, I don't really feel anything. I just kind of feel like, okay. And then I want you to think about £10. And then I want you to think about £100 or your currency. Then think about 1,000. Constantly just maintaining an awareness of what's going on in your body when you start to think about this amount of money, and specifically about receiving this amount of money or having this amount of money, right? So we're at 1,000. Some of you may already be starting to feel a little like, ooh. Now I want you to think about 10,000. And now I want you to think about 100,000. And I want you to tell me in the comments below which number started to feel a little bit uncomfortable or a bit like, ooh, you started to notice something in your body. You can hear my little dogs trotting around all over the place and chomping on their chews. Real life. It's real life. I've got to keep them quiet somehow. If they're chewing on something, they're not barking. So tell me, 10,000. Fab, Natalie. You put an exclamation point. Why? Because you're surprised you got that high? And also, if that's the case, then go take some time just quickly to go 100,000 never cashed them out for me, always just becomes a number. Ooh, interesting. There's a disconnect. So what's the difference then? So for Natalie, I want you to go from 1 to 10,000, that it was low. Okay, but 10,000 was where you felt it, right? So I want you to now take a moment to just go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and see which number between 1,000 and 10,000 made you disconnect. And with you, Liz, I want you to try it in tens of thousands. So 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, see where the disconnect happens and then break it down again. So if it's between 20 and 30, you would go 21, 22,000, 23,000 and see where the disconnect is for you. So everybody take a moment now to do that. And I want you to give me your exact number in the comments. And I'm gonna very quickly take 1 minute to have a quick wee because I'm bursting and I won't be able to concentrate. So do that exercise for me. Put your number in the comments and give me a moment to pee. Sometimes you just have to wee in the live stream. Fluffball. Right, let's see what numbers we've got. Move away. Oh, okay. Penny, 50,000. Amazing. $6,000, 85,000. Awesome, awesome. This is great. Okay, right, so for those of you then who are playing along, you need to raise your game, or don't you worry, Natalie, you're spending 2 full days with me at the weekend, your game's going to go through the roof. And bear in mind that some of you might be thinking about this as a one-off sale, some of you might be thinking about it as like a, hey Shannon, nice to see you, lover. Some of you might be thinking about it as like a yearly goal, a monthly goal. So remember that any comparison that's happening there, Natalie, which is interesting, right? If you're looking at what other people have put down and thought, oh my God, that's way more, or that's nowhere near enough, or whatever. You see, Natalie, when I think about it as a sale, like as in a one-off sale. So yeah, well, oh, Angela, if you were painting and you want to play, then just do the game now. Just do it and join us. Put a figure in the comments below. Yeah, so it's all about, you know, some people, as I say, some people will be thinking about it as a single sale. Some people will be thinking about it yearly, monthly, you know. So it's all going to be different. And also, everyone's going to have a different energetic set point, and yours is the only one that you need to worry about. But it's interesting that there was a little bit of something that was triggered there in terms of comparisonitis, which is just so perfect. So now what I want you to do is, when you think about going anywhere above your current limit, or if that number is the number that kind of gives you a bit of like a resistance, stay with that number. Let me just tune into what mine would be, which is going to probably make me laugh, because my energetic set point is always, when I check in with it, I always think it's going to be higher, and it always surprises me, and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, it's way lower than I thought it was. And then it always gets way higher than I think it's going to go. Right. For some reason, the number 7,000 is coming into my head at the moment. Is that right? Let me just tune in. Because, you know, it's only fair that I get to play the game as well. I am hosting it. I want to play, god damn it. Right, let's see. So. I think as a single sale, the limit I'm getting is 7,000. Or for like it's not a single sale, it's like for a single offering, the limit I feel is 7,000. Okay. just going to ask my boyfriend to turn his iPad down because it's so loud. What? Yeah. Did you just turn your iPad down a bit? Oh, wait, okay. Have a nice day. Even doubt just kicked them out of the house. Apparently, that's what's happening. You missed the question, Lily. The question was, go up in increments of £1, 100, £1, £10, £100, £1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Find your energetic set point. Where do you start to feel? No. You're far too big to be on the couch. It's fucking like the size of a fucking Malamute Husky. It's huge. Yeah. Single sell at 2,300, fabulous. So just find your energetic set point with money just by tuning in and feeling when you get to a certain number, you'll start to feel a little bit of resistance in your body, and that's what we want. So just go through, and when you find the energetic like nudge, the resistance, that's your number that we'll be working on. So now what I want you to do is when you tune into that number, I want you to feel where the resistance is in your body. So when I think about £7,000 for a single offering right now, we've got the same hair, haven't we, mate? When I think about that now, I feel it here actually, like in quite deep in the chest, like here, quite like deep within the chest. Oh, you as well, Angela. Fab, fab, fab. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to give it a shape and a colour. So for me, this is, I'm just going to put my number down here so I don't forget, because I will probably forget once we get tapping, because everything shifts and then it doesn't feel real anymore. So for me, it's here, and it's like, have you ever seen the bones of a cuttlefish? Have you ever seen that? It's like almost like an oval, and it's like this porous kind of bone-like material. Very specific image that I've got in here. So when I tap, I'm going to be using that as my focal point. For you guys, so for example, Angela, when I say even though I have this cuttlefish shaped feeling, you're going to say I have this dark cloud. Yeah, so you get what I'm saying. You're going to replace the words with your stuff, and this is how we're going to get as specific as possible. And I'm also going to throw other stuff in as we start to go through, because I'll start to just get messages about what we need to clear. Okay, so when you feel it in there, I want you to give it that shape, that visual, or that feeling. How would you describe that feeling if it had a colour and a shape, right? And then if there's an emotion attached to it as well, you can throw that in as well. So let me just tune into this cuttlefish kind of feeling. It's almost a bit of a light grey cream colour. You can give it an intensity between 0 to 10 as well if you want to. You can, for me, mine's about a 7. If 10's the most intense and 0 is nothing, you want to give it a little intensity number. Mine would be about a 7. And the word that's coming up for me when I tune into this feeling is distraction. Okay? Distraction. Okay. Right. So when you're ready, just following along with me. Even though, when I think about making more than £7,000, you put your number in, I get this light grey cuttlefish feeling. Stay there. About a 7 intensity. I accept myself anyway. Even though, when I think about getting more than £7,000, I get this cuttlefish feeling in my chest and throat. And it feels like distraction and disappointment. It's just come up for me, so I'm adding that in. But I accept myself anyway. Even though when I think about having more than £7,000 for a single offering. I get this feeling in my chest. I accept myself anyway. This feeling in my chest. Dog, get off the couch. Off. Sit. This is what happens when you look after other people's dogs. It's take over your fucking life. No more, my friends. No more. This feeling in my chest. This distracted and disappointed feeling in my chest. This 7. This grey, creamy feeling in my chest. And in my throat. This feeling. This feeling about getting more than £7,000. This number 7,000. I don't know why it's important, and I don't need to know why. What we call a shift, people. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay. Can I come here, please? Let me have this. What is this that we're chewing? Because it's disgusting. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Is that better? Yeah. Give me your new numbers. Tell me where you're at. Whilst I wipe the dog off of my hands. I'm going to tune back into mine. Oh my god, this is so interesting. Oh my god, mine's dropped to 5,000. So this is where you know you literally cannot go wrong, because whether it goes up, whether it goes down, it doesn't actually matter. You can't tap into yourself, you just get excited at 100,000. I'm thinking. So Angela, when you say you can't tap into myself, I just get excited at 100,000. When you actually think about having it, does that feel real? Or does it feel like there's just all this excited energy and then you can't actually feel having it in your body? Because sometimes what happens is it feels exciting, but if there's too much heightened excited energy around it, it's like we almost can't hold on to, we can't keep or live in excess. So we feel like we could get £100,000 or euros or dollars, but then it's like the idea of actually keeping it or being able to use it or feeling comfortable having it is very different. So just let me know what comes up around that. 6,000 more comfortable, fantastic, Natalie. I'd love to know any thoughts that are coming into your mind as well, like any thoughts that come up around this particular amount of money or anything like that, anything that's like pinging in. Yes, that was a yearly number, but then I change it to sell at 2,000. Oh, you did. Oh, fab, fab, fab. So how is that feeling then, Angela, when you've changed it? And how are you doing, Lily? Let us know. And the lovely Liz, how are you doing? Penny, are you still with us? Penny, can you hear me? La, 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 la. And then let me just tune back in, right? So if I use 7,000 again, yeah, the funny thing is that I feel 5,000 here, like in my heart space, in my sternum. And what's weird is there's almost like a sadness around this feeling of £5,000. And I'm not sure what that means or what that is, but we're going to tune in and see. So when you're ready, tune into the feeling in your body now, whatever resistance is left. And let's just tap through. So I'm going to use whatever comes up in my body, and you will change the color, the emotion, the anything if you want to. But here's the really magic thing about EFT. Even if you just tap on what I'm tapping on and you just say the exact words that I'm saying, you will still get a shift. Right? Fucking magic. So when you're ready, tapping on the side of the hand. Even though, when I think about having £5,000, it feels like it lives in my heart. Ooh. Excuse me. Things are on the move. And it feels sad. But I'm okay and I accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this number 5,000 in my heart. And it feels empty and sad. And maybe that's because it should be 6,000. And I accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this number in my heart, I accept myself anyway. All this sadness around money, all of this disappointment, it starts out feeling really exciting. And then there's an emptiness that comes with it. Because when you've got more than enough money, and you don't have to worry about money anymore, and everything just feels hunky-dory financially, you suddenly have to pay attention to all the other stuff in your life. Using money as a distraction. Yeah, that's why that word came up earlier. Always a reason. These distracting money problems, keeping me from dealing with the real shit in my life, keeping me from really connecting with people that I love. Because if I'm worried about money, I can't think about anything else. Because it feels so real and scary. So I keep myself in a place of less than. Without realizing I've been keeping myself in a place of not enough. Because I've become addicted to the safety of worrying about money. And who do I think I am to want more money? Who do I think I am? Just expecting, wanting, and requiring more. What if it doesn't have to mean anything about me as a person? What if I just get to make more because I choose to make more? What if I stop putting so much meaning on these numbers? Maybe I can choose to stop distracting myself with money. Distracting myself from the feeling of not being good enough. Distracting myself from the fear of maybe never being good enough. Okay, take a nice deep breath. If you've got any water, take a little sipperoo. Check back in. Claudia, what do you mean it's never resonated with me? To what exactly are you referring? I need a bit more information than that because I'm not sure when you commented that comment. So I'm not sure what it was in relation to. It's never resonated with me. What hasn't ever resonated with you, my love? Let me help you. So as far as I can see, I've got 4 people watching live at the moment. So do let me know if you're still here. Let me know what's going on. Penny Goodwin, one-off sale at 3,000. Fantastic. Check in, let me know where you are so we can do some more tapping. Wah, wah, wah. It's so weird because I'm in a space of releasing at the moment, like physically and energetically after the 3-day or EFT training. So it's like I'm tuning into, I have no idea what I'm tuning into, who I'm tuning into. As usual, I'm just literally going with the flow of whatever comes through. So if these words are resonating with you, let me know. Hit refresh. You're confused. Okay. More information, please. Confused about what? 6,000 now, feeling realistic. Fantastic. And how does realistic feel in your body, Natalie, compared to before? And Liz, I want to know what you're confused about, because I'm confused by your confusion. When you check back in with your original number, how does it feel? Like, why is this an issue? Oh, right. Because it is. So why do you need to know the why? It feels light. Fantastic. That's good. I create 2 types of artwork, original paintings and originals that I turn into digital works, which I love, but I find it hard to charge for the digital. Okay, so let's go in and do a bit of this then. So even though I'm okay charging for some things and not others, I'm only happy to charge if I've taken a lot of time over something. I accept myself anyway. Even though things have to be hard in order to prove that I deserve to be paid for them, I accept myself anyway. And here's one for you, Liz. Even though I know enough about this stuff that I should have dealt with this by now. I can't even believe that this is even an issue for me. I accept myself anyway. It has to be hard. I have to struggle and spend lots of time and effort on something in order to charge for it. Some of my work is of higher value than others. But it's only me that's deciding that. My energy is valuable. My skill set is valuable. People come to me because they can't do the thing themselves. And so regardless of the time or effort it takes me, I'm providing a valuable service. And only I can do what I can do. There might be other people who do things in the same realm. They might charge more, they might charge less. But how much they charge and how much they make for their services is quite literally none of my fucking business. I decide what my services are worth based on what I believe my services are worth. Nobody else gets to decide that for me. Nobody else gets to decide, just me. and I decide that I am worthy of more. I deserve more. I deserve it all. I'm worthy of making more money. The numbers that I see inside of me that feel too big to be real money, they're the same as the smaller numbers. It's all just numbers and energy. And to make more money, I don't have to do more work. I just need to do more believing. Take a nice deep breath. I see another comment here from you, Liz, but again, I kind of, because they're only short sentences, I can't quite figure out what they mean. You mean you're confused because it's no longer an issue and you feel like that money is available, so as in thumbs up, tapping is good, or I'm not sure what else that comment would mean. Penny Goodwin, it feels good to release the worry about money, appreciation of being loved and accepted, feel free. Fantastic. Again, what does freedom feel like? Slowly shifting, and I'm hoping that says tearing and not tearing, because I don't want to tear you to pieces. Tearing is good though. Tearing is just a release. So what you can do when you feel yourself tearing up like that is actually just allow yourself to really just immerse yourself in that release and just allow it to happen. Anyone else care to give me any more feedback? Because we can always do another round, guys. We can always do another round. And remember, you can come back and do this time and time again with different numbers, feeling lighter and lighter. Fantastic. Yes. And the great thing here is that this feeling that you're in right now, so specifically, I know that Natalie and Penny are both feeling kind of more free and lighter, which is fab, which is what we're aiming for, right? I actually heard somebody else talking about this yesterday, a lady I follow called Genevieve Lightworker. I don't know if any of you follow her. She's awesome. You should follow her. She's great. She talks a lot about all, similar kind of stuff that I do. But she said something on a live stream this week, and I was like, oh, of course, that's a great way to describe it. And she said, you know, rather than thinking about what it would feel like to have just received the money, think about what it would feel like to have received the money and to be continually just, that it just becomes normal for you. Because I think sometimes we look at these bigger numbers and we get like excited, like, oh my God, I could make £10,000, I could make 100,000, I could make 1 million. And we're like, whoa, and it feels like, exciting when the sales come in, of course. But then that excitement, if you have to maintain that level of energy in order to call in more money, does that mean that your excitement has to go up every time you, and eventually there's going to be a cap on that before you just explode. And so I know for myself anyway, that when I think about this just consistently happening, I actually just have like, I feel more energized, but in like, in a more grounded way. I feel more like, well, of course, yeah, that's just how it is. And it just feels like quite chilled and relaxed, and it's no longer that kind of exciting. And although it still might be when you get those sales coming through, yeah, be excited for sure. But when you're someone who is making, say, £1 million a year, do they get as excited by every single sale? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether if they saw like £1 or £7 or £10 come through on their PayPal, whether they'd really be that as excited as maybe somebody who's just started their business and sees that much money coming through, right? So it's not about not appreciating the smaller amounts of money. It's about understanding that how you feel about those smaller amounts of money and feel that level of, yes, that gets to continue, but you also get to have this level of, but of course, and like almost like expecting it to come in. Just like, if you just know something's going to happen, like you just know that at some point today you're going to eat dinner, you're going to drink some water, you're going to maybe have a cup of tea or coffee. You just know that stuff's going to happen. You don't think, right, so, okay, I need a glass of wine. I have to have, at some point, I have to have a glass of water. Oh my God, okay, how am I going to make this happen? Oh shit, okay, I'm not entirely sure. I've got to get to the tap, and then there's got to be glasses. And, you know, if you're worrying that much about life, then we probably need to do a little bit deeper work than just a few minutes tapping on a live stream. Am I right? But when you think about the money coming in and just expecting the money to be there, that's the energy I'm talking about. It's just like, well, just of course. Like, if I think about today, I don't wake up in the morning and panic that I'm not going to be able to get my hands on water, because I live in, you know, I live in the first world. I live in the Channel Islands in the UK. I have access to clean water. Like, that's not a thing that I have to worry about. And so I don't wake up in the morning worrying about it or stressing about it, because I just know it's going to be there. So why is money any different? And this is what I want you to understand. I would love to do one more round, but on what, Angela? What's your current stuckness? What's the current block? What's the current stuckness you're feeling? We can absolutely do another round. I've got 2 sleepy pooches now. Thank you, Jesus. What's the stuckness? What are you still feeling? What's coming up for you that you feel you need to have removed? And let me know, guys, is this making sense to you, this idea that money can be in your mind the same way that water or food or air would be? Charging for what I feel are the digital stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do another round, and hope that you shift some of the stuff here. What I am picking up on, though, is that this might be something that you need to get even more specific about, Angela. So, wait there, let me just... Tell me, Angela, what is it but who cares if it's important as well? Like, why does that matter if it's important? Like, importance means that it has to be worthy or deserving. It doesn't. Create for the sake of creation, yeah? What's coming? Do you enjoy doing the digital work as much as you enjoy the artwork? Specifically for you, Angela. Good on you, Liz. Get journaling. Let me know how you get on. Drop a post in the group later and let me know how you got on. Don't just use me and abuse me, Liz. Come back and tell us how you got on. Is it just Angela and Penny that I've still got here? In all one and the same, I use them together. Yeah, it's kind of tricky for me to know what we're tapping on here, Angela. You love creating them. Okay, there we go. There's the answer. I love creating them both. Okay. So why do you feel... Oh, you're still here listening. Hey, girl. So, Angela, tell me then, and be as specific as possible, because this is the last answer, and then we'll go into the tapping, and I'll just do whatever comes through. So to make it as specific as possible for you, I want to know what is your issue then. You must know, when you go to charge someone for your digital stuff, you must have some thoughts and beliefs, something come up in your head, like, oh, I can't charge as much for that because, or whatever, right? Or you must get a feeling in your body. So tell me how you know that you still have resistance to charging the same amount for your digital stuff. Because obviously I don't know your artwork. I don't know the ins and outs of your artwork, so I don't know how it works. So let me know what comes up in your head when you think about charging the same or more or whatever you would like to be stepping into for this digital work. Tell me, how do you know there's still resistance? Not a unique one-off. Okay, I feel like perceptions are, it's not as valuable as the painting alone. Right, so here's the thing. You are saying that other people believe that, but you believe it, because if you didn't believe it, you wouldn't have an issue, okay? So let's tap on that. Even though I believe that the reproductions are not as valuable as the one-offs. And it might be hard for me to admit that because I want to believe that they are. I accept myself anyway. And again, guys, even if this doesn't resonate with you, keep tapping because you will be clearing stuff anyway. Even though part of my work is more valuable than the others. And I've just decided that for no reason. Because I'm worried what other people will think. And I accept myself anyway. Even though I've made a decision about the value of certain parts of my work, based on what other people do, I accept myself anyway. These decisions that I've made about the value of my work, they're based on nothing. Maybe they're based on how other people do things. And maybe they don't have to be. Or maybe the real issue is I'm not charging enough for the original work in the first place. Maybe that's the real issue. Maybe I'd be okay with charging less for the reproductions, for the digital stuff, if I was charging enough for the originals. Maybe that's the real issue. Maybe. Maybe not. But I can't imagine charging more for the originals. Because sometimes I already feel like I'm charging too much. I'm afraid people will tell me it's too expensive or too much. So it's time to release the need for other people's approval or permission to charge what my work is worth. I give myself permission to charge whatever the fuck I want for whatever the fuck I want. Take a nice deep breath. I would say that charging is that swearing is optional, but I think with me, we all know that it's not. I think it's very important. So, how did you get on with that round? Let me know. Hi, Natalia. You seem to pop in and pop out quite regularly. How are you doing, kiddo? Give me that final check-in and let me know how you're doing. I have a very sleepy and gigantic Labradoodle at my feet right now. He's very sweet. Oh, good to hear it, good to hear it. Breathing easier, Angela, fantastic. Did any of that resonate with you? I think we have a lot of stuff when it comes to money and charging. We have a lot of stuff around what other people are going to think about what we charge, or we tend to look at what other people who we believe to be in our kind of level of experience or whatever, we look at them and we're like, oh, well, if they're charging that much, I can't possibly charge more, or whatever bullshit lies we're telling ourselves. But ultimately, when you start to understand that money is an energy and it's a belief system, when you look at how much work have you put into your money mindset and into your beliefs around money and charging, that's really where your marker is going to be. It actually doesn't matter how long you've been doing the thing or how different you are, or none of that stuff actually matters. There's people in the world who will look at your services at £10 and say that's too expensive, and there'll be people who look at your I don't know, your services at like £100,000 and think that that's too cheap. So it doesn't actually matter. There's going to be people in all walks of life who are going to pay all different ranges of stuff. Like there are people out there who, you know, have stuff like who have their hair blow dried every day. I mean, I don't, obviously. If I had my hair blow dried every day, I would look like a sheep, even more so than now. I look more like a Labradoodle now. I've decided that I've got my little mate here. We've got like, we're twinning on the hair side of things today. But it's really like your level of what you allow into your experience, whether it's like £100,000 a year, or £1 million a year, or 100,000 million pounds a year, it really doesn't actually make any difference who you are or what you're offering. The only thing that makes a difference is what you believe about yourself and what you believe is available to you and what you're willing to actually allow into your experience and not give yourself shit about. Because when you get something really good that feels really juicy and delicious, what's the first thing that you do? Do you celebrate and then be like, yeah, this is totally, let's have more of the same, please? Or do you freak out a little bit and be like, oh my goodness, I better make sure I hold on to this because, as we said earlier, maybe this will run out, maybe this is my only chance, maybe this is my chance to make it, and if I don't keep hold of this money and make really good decisions with this money, then I'm never going to make any more, so I've got to make sure that I do everything right and put loads of pressure on yourself to do it all perfectly, because if you don't, then you're not going to make any more money, because obviously more money doesn't exist because the universe isn't abundant. Oh no, wait, yes it is. So if you need proof and constant evidence that abundance is available to you, step outside your front door, get yourself out in nature, have a plant in the house, you know, get yourself near something green, go to the ocean, get outside. That's my biggest tip. If you're not feeling abundant, get out in nature. So if you live in a city, maybe there's an abundance of traffic and pollution, but there's still an abundance of stuff, right? And I can guarantee you that people who say to me, oh, I don't know, I mean, I struggle with abundance. I'm like, no, you don't. You're just pointing it in the wrong direction. So I can guarantee you, even if you're someone who doesn't think you're abundant, I bet you've got an abundance of something, an abundance of stress, an abundance of worry, an abundance of insomnia, an abundance of assholes populating your experience. Like, you will have an abundance of something. So why not choose to have an abundance of some good shit instead of the bad shit? I know I make it sound so fucking easy. And that's because when you decide to actually do the work and put the work in like we're doing here and like I do with my clients, then that's when you know you're going to make really powerful changes in your life. Now guys, you all know, because I've been talking about it and I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's really fucking important to me, that I'm running Limitless starting on the 20th of October. There is still space, but I do have people signing up at this point. And I love it when people just sign up and go, yes, fuck yeah. And they say to me, I mean, I've already decided I'm doing it, but can you just tell me a bit more about it? I'm like, yep, I'll tell you whatever you need to know, kids. So when you know that this is something that you need, when you know that you need to be working with me on a higher level and that you need more of me in your life, I'm not always quite so insane. Sometimes I'm quite calm and compassionate. The biggest thing that you can do for yourself is actually say yes to the things that you want. And if something that you want is to work with me in Limitless, then please reach out. I do actually have the biggest heart and the deepest compassion for the people who actually take the steps to do what they know that they need to do in life. And if you're one of the people who knows that you need to be doing this program, just reach out, have a chat. The worst that will happen is that we have a little chat, I ask you some questions, and then you end up, oh my God, holy shit balls, actually investing in yourself and making it fucking happen. The reason I'm so passionate about this, I was thinking about this earlier, I was like, fucking hell, I am really excited to run this. And the reason that I'm so excited to run it is because I even forget myself how quickly we limit ourselves, how quickly we give up on things. And like I said earlier, it's so easy for people to be inspired. It's so easy for people to have that moment of, oh, I've got to make that happen. And then we talk ourselves out of shit all the fucking time. And I'm so over seeing these incredibly gifted coaches, artists, these incredible healers, all these amazing people that come into my life experience through my communities on Facebook or I meet in person, however I meet them, these people that I magnetize somehow with my energy, it hurts sometimes. It hurts my little heart sometimes to see these people not truly stepping up and owning their brilliance and not believing in themselves and fucking quitting and giving up on themselves before they've really gone all in. And that's because very often people forget what it feels like to go all in, because we're so busy trying to get an A to Z plan of how to get to the fucking destination, instead of just deciding that the destination is where we are going and then just following the nudges from our soul and from the universe. And that is exactly what Limitless is about. It's about having me on your ass 24/7 for 6 weeks. You've got unlimited access to me. We're going to speak to each other every single day. We're going to speak, in terms of our Voxer contact, we're going to have one-to-one calls every week. We're going to have group calls every single week. So you're going to get contact with me 12 times in 6 weeks, plus any extra contact that you want using the voice messaging stuff, okay? You get so much of me on this 6-week program. You literally cannot join and not see a change. It's going to blow your shit up. Come and play in my happy tappy world. And there's actually going to be some, not strategy stuff, because I don't really believe in strategy in the stereotypical way. But what we will be doing is, I will give you action points. I'll give you things that you need to do, whether that's something as woo-woo as meditating or going by a fucking crystal, or whether it's something as just plain as you need to be posting on Facebook every single day, or you need to be journaling, or you need to be reaching out to these people, or you need to formulate a program, or I'll help you formulate a program. So I'm going to be doing that practical stuff with you as well. But we all know that the real magic happens when you do the mindset and the energy work. So it's a bit of another reason why it's called Limitless is because we're literally going to cover all aspects of wherever you are right now, getting you from this point to where you want to be in 6 weeks' time. And I've decided to add a bonus little check-in call right at the beginning of the 6 weeks to make sure that I know exactly where your focus is and that you know exactly where your focus is for 6 weeks' time. Because it's all well and good signing up for a program for 6 weeks and thinking, oh yeah, this is going to change everything. But if you haven't really been honest with yourself about what your goals are, then that can sometimes trip us up. And I think sometimes we feel like we don't set goals because they feel like it suddenly makes everything really serious. But I want you to understand that making a goal, setting that goal actually gets to be really fun. And so I know that might sound bizarre, but when you're actually working towards something, if it's like a juicy and delicious soul-led goal, it should feel really exciting and really fun to be on that journey. And then when the shit comes up for us to clear along the way, it doesn't end up being this big laborious thing. It just ends up being like, oh, okay, so now I am aware of something that I need to clear in order to get from here to where I want to be. Amazing, let's clear it. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of your life dedicated to smashing your goals. It's October. We're gearing up for the end of the year. Don't slow down. Now is the time to put your pedal to the fucking metal and speed the fuck up. Let's skyrocket your success. Let's not fucking dangle back like, oh, well, it's nearly winter. No, I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs and just start wearing big jumpers and drinking hot chocolate and thinking about what I'm going to do next year. No! You can wear big jumpers and drink hot chocolate. I highly recommend it. However, we're going to smash your goals before the end of the year. Don't give up now. Don't give up now. Now is the time to go hard or go home. Am I right? So don't go home. Let's go hard, bitches. On that note, I'm going to leave you. But remember, just reach out if you know, or if you just feel like this could be an exciting, juicy opportunity for you. You already know who you are. Big love.